Welcome to Flirting and Farting with the Shallahs. I'm LaVianca.
And I'm Shakim.
This is unscripted love and unfiltered laughter, and you will see our little ones because we are presenting real life with us. So don't mind them if you see them roaming around.
Yeah.
So why are we here with Flirting and Farting? To share resources, to share our story, to show millennial married couples that we are out here, we are present. There is a community just like you with children trying to figure it out and learning how to maintain and sustain a relationship. We don't have all the answers, but we are avid.
We're not experts by any means. Like, we just study relationships. We've been in a 11-year committed relationship, 3 of those years being married. So a lot of the perspective we have is, it's a lot of value in what we have to say. And I feel like anything we say here, you're more than welcome to try it, but we just want to tell you our story and give you some perspective based on our story.
And it's a credit to the books we read, to the couples that we've come in contact with, that we've learned from, the podcasts we've listened to, and from our own developing story as we walk out this married life with children, as entrepreneurs, as creatives. So this is for everybody to hopefully get value and to share a little bit of us.
Yeah, and this is not, like you said, this is unscripted. Like, we're literally just having a conversation with you guys and with each other about our transitions, our relationship, our journey. So
with that.
Yeah, with that being said.
Where were you the very first time you seen me?
So when I first saw LaVianca, it was at an open mic night. When we both attended UNC Pembroke, and she did a spoken word piece. Mind you, like, I heard spoken word before, but I've never been to nothing like it in person. So when I seen her up on stage, it was really dope. Like, I think she won second place or something like that.
I did. Yeah, as a freshman.
So, and the way she spoke, she looked very sure of herself. Very smart, very beautiful. Mind you, I was in a relationship at the time, so I wasn't pursuing, but I acknowledged that, she was the real deal. So, but what about you? Where were you when you first saw me?
The very first time I remember seeing you, I was in Belk Hall, homesick, looking at the full moon, contemplating. I think I had just sent all my stuff to UNC Charlotte because I was about to transfer, making an emotional decision. And I seen you walking by all dressed up with your then girlfriend. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. From that visual, I had already made an assumption of who he was. Later found out it was a baby come back date. But from that imagery of him dressed up and her dressed up, I was always a hopeless romantic, and I just thought that was adorable, and I desired something like that, not knowing years later we would be here.
Right. Like, that was a terrible time, and I've learned from those mistakes, and obviously that's why I'm here today.
So our first interaction.
At the time I was still dating the girl, and I was training with this gentleman at the gym, and he was a really cool guy, quiet, kept to himself. So I didn't see nothing wrong with her. She had bumped into me, actually. I was heading to the calf, and she bumped into me asking me, do I know any friends or have any friends that I can hook her up with? So I hooked her up with this guy that I was training with, not thinking that anything was gonna go wrong. And then all of a sudden, she just bone rushes me at I think it was a Relay for Life of all events. Like, you know, walking for, I'm not sure what Relay for Life is.
You don't remember?
You know, but I do know it was a Relay for Life, and it was like late at night or something. We was walking, and she bumped into me saying the dude she went out that I hooked her up with was
very rude.
Yeah, basically
actually.
a dog. And
so we hung out once. So what happened was, as a freshman, I was a very spirited and naive, outgoing young lady. So from that visual of seeing him under the full moon, I had made up that he was like this awesome guy that had a girlfriend and was, you know, a Southern type guy that knew how to treat someone. So I made up that whole thing in my head, walked up on him, was like, hey, you got somebody you can hook me up with? He did not know me from a can of paint.
I did not. I did not.
But that was his first interaction with me. And the first time me and that guy hung out did not end well. Luckily, we hung out once and it was terrible. So I did go up to him and blamed him for it. Even though you didn't know me. And that was our first interaction. Yeah. And we did not see each other again for a year.
We see each other for a year.
A year?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the next time we ran into each other, you was outside of I had an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
You were outside of my apartment with our close friend, DJ Slim.
Yeah.
Who DJ every party at UNC Pembroke. I credit him for us being together because if he wouldn't have been outside fixing his speakers at the time, you wouldn't have ended up getting my number that day.
Right.
So Shakim played the long game. My mom traveled down that day and took me to the grocery store for groceries. I don't know how long they were out fixing this man's speakers, but we went and came back with groceries. By the time we got back, Shakim offered to help with those groceries to bring them in. And then after we took the groceries in, that's when, my mom left first. After my mom left, then I had came back outside to go meet some friends. And then you asked for my number, I think. And I didn't even remember what I had on that day. He remembered what I had on that day.
Down the red dress.
No, you don't remember now.
I thought it was a red dress.
It was the yellow and navy blue striped dress.
Okay.
You're the one that told me that.
She had the bottom cut.
You told me that a few years after we was dating what I had on, but you don't remember now, Mister. I remember everything.
Well, yeah.
But that was when you got my number.
Yes.
But we didn't talk again for another 6 months after that.
Yeah, because I didn't get her number at the time. Even then, like, I wasn't intentionally trying to, date her. I just thought she was way out of my league. Like, the type of dude and the things I done went through in my old relationships. Like, I was like, nah, she'll probably run me in the ground.
Oh.
Not in a bad way, but in the sense of, like, I need to have my stuff together if we was gonna have something, So I got her number, and at the time she didn't know that I had enlisted in the military.
No, I did not.
And that's why we didn't see each other for another. I think it was longer than 6 months. It was maybe another year.
It was another year? You sure?
Yeah, because
I think it was.
No, it was another year. It was at least 8-9 months.
Okay. That could be accurate.
8-9 months, because I had to go to basic training and all that.
You.
But when I got back home, I was in a place where, I was like, okay, I'm 20 at the time, or going on 21, and I was just like, I need to get to a place to where it's like I need to build. I need to start thinking about building a legacy, because understanding that, for me, I grew up without a father, or any type of wealth in my life or in my family. So I understood, like, I need to do something now, or build something now with someone, and we can build it together. So I reached out to her after looking at her page on Twitter or Instagram and stuff like that.
There's research.
Definitely did my homework. I definitely was in a better mental space. I felt like I was growing. I was in a growing season. So I just reached out to her one day and asked her out on a date, and she swerved me.
So where I was when he messaged me, I had literally just sworn off men. I was at a state where I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on myself. I'm done with guys. And here he comes texting me, being very persistent about taking me out on a date that week. So I had texted him 3 months before this occurred, and he didn't respond. So I was like, okay, cool. No big deal. And went on about my day. Ended up in a situationship with a gentleman where I was dating him and he was not dating me, which led me to my isolation period, which I thought, where I was swearing off men. And here comes Shakim texting me. I was at Leadership, which is a leadership event where those in student government or a different leadership position goes onto a campgrounds and they cultivate their leadership qualities and skills. So that's where I was at when he texted me. And he texted me and we were having a conversation. It was like, yeah, I want to take you out when you get back on Friday. I'm like, why? We don't know each other. Why are you trying to take me out like as soon as I get home? What's the catch? Why do you want to take me out so bad? So he texts me every day while we were there for a week. And there was another gentleman there. We would have late night, early morning conversations at this leadership camp. And I had, we made closer relationships and bonds than one of the other gentlemen I credit for our relationship. We had a conversation. I was telling him, yeah, he keeps texting me and he wants to take me out on a date. And I don't understand why he want to take me out like as soon as I get back. I don't get it. What's the catch? And I told him about the situationship and why I was in this situation of not wanting to be pursued at the moment. He was like, well, if he wants to take you out, just let him take you out. So I gave in. But you didn't know he was going to be driving 2 hours from where he lives to past Charlotte to take me out.
Yeah. And honestly, and that's kind of how we met. Like that's the
origin story.
The origin story of how we met. And I think it's really important when you are an individual, because I'm sure there are going to be singles listening to this as well. Like, if you want something bad enough, if you want a person, I ain't saying stalk them and none of that type stuff. But what I'm saying is, go for it. Like, don't be afraid of rejection. Don't be afraid to approach the lady or a man that you want, because you never know. Like, it could probably change your life. Because it definitely has mine.
Oh. From that, I learned to get out my own way.
Yeah.
And don't allow past experiences to dictate the future. But it led to an awesome courtship that I didn't even know the meaning of the word courtship until you. So we will cover that in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed our origin story. See you soon.